Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. It's Monday, that means it's Movie Monday. Today, we are talking about Captain America, Civil War. That's right everybody, welcome to Movie Monday here on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. This is...
Jelani, Bullard.
This is... Brooks, and we are talking about...
I'm excited about myself being here.
We're talking about Captain America Civil War, continuing on the beginning of Phase 3 of the MCU, building our way up, our march to the Infinity War. We are so excited for this movie, Infinity War. So let's talk about Civil War, because Civil War at the time was like a prelude to Infinity War, if you will, because we were like, there's a lot of characters in this movie, and there's even more in Infinity War, but Civil War was the first time to really show that they were completely capable of taking all these characters and throwing them in a movie, having it being fun, exciting, with depth and richness, and everybody had their spotlight. I love Civil War. I think this movie is phenomenal. I loved it when I first saw it. I still love it today. I thought it was amazing. When I rewatched it a few days ago, this movie blew me away again. I love it so much. I think it's got great character development. I think it really does focus in, and it is a Cap movie, even though it is Avengers 2.5, basically. It could be Avengers Civil War, but it is a Captain America story because it focuses on his relationship with Bucky. You got the introductions of Spider-Man and Black Panther all in one movie. Like, that's like so much. And you got the Avengers in there again. It's like, after the disappointment, to me, of Age of Ultron, this was the Avengers sequel that I wanted. I loved it. It's maybe got some issues. We'll talk about that. Jelani, what do you think about Captain America Civil War?
Man,
then and now.
Amazing. Oh, yeah. Blows my mind. Still blows my mind to this day. I think I may have watched it 7 lifetime totals so far. I might watch it again.
Nice.
It's got, like, everything. It's a great mix of humor, and it has a great mix of drama all together, and it's intricate. And you understand both parties and how both sides actually feel. Like, there's an actual problem with the Avengers going too far. But are they going too far? I mean, it's a lot of questions it brings up. It brings back a lot of things from the past, from Iron Man's past. It brings up a lot of things for the future of how the Avengers are run. I mean, it breaks apart everyone. It's disassembling, and it's a very powerful film because of the characterization of everyone in it. Like, it gives equal time to pretty much every character in the movie. You actually feel for them, unlike some teen movies. I'm not gonna say which ones, but yeah, that one. It's not really a cohesive unit with those as much as a Captain America movie. It is a feeling of Captain America, but you know it's a bigger, it's a wider universe that's involved.
It's definitely a continuation of his story in particular, but it definitely, like, Tony is just as much, to me, a major character in here, a main character, just like Steve is, to me. So, obviously, this is kind of loosely based on Civil War from Marvel Comics, written by Mark Miller, with artwork by Steve McNiven. It came out in 2007. Civil War was great. It was Superhero Registration Act. Tony was pro-superhero registration. Cap was kind of against it, but he didn't really want to fight. But then when he was told that he had to hunt down people like Daredevil and Iron Fist and Luke Cage and, like, bring them in and arrest them, he was not for it, and he kind of went against the government, went against Tony Stark. It was a big thing. So they do take some elements from that comic book, because they have the Sokovian Accords based on what happened in Age of Ultron. Thunderbolt Ross comes in like he has anything to say about this. The man who's responsible for the abomination, right, comes in and tells the Avengers.
Harlem.
Yeah, he comes in and, "Are you guys Ultron, Chitauri? You guys need to be brought in. You guys need to be rung in." So it's got some differences from the comic books. That doesn't bother me. I don't think it bothers Jelani.
No.
Definitely doesn't bother Brooks, because not much bothers Brooks. Did this movie bother you, Brooks? Brooks, what did you think about this movie?
I loved it. I think it's one of the best ones. You know, it has so much. It's one of those movies, you know, that keeps up the pace really well. Yeah. Like, it never feels like it lags anywhere.
Yes.
Like, it's very entertaining, and even though there's a lot going on, it doesn't feel like too much. it does feel like it feels like the stories gets stretched a little thin.
Oh yeah, it does actually.
But you know, it's you can forgive that because it's so enjoyable.
Because it's very fun, and it keeps you.
Like Spider-Man
keeps you on the edge of your seats. Like maybe the movie does slow up a little bit during the Spider-Man part, but I don't care because it's Spider-Man and it's his introduction and it's great. You know, apparently originally this movie's done by the Russo brothers, same cast that are doing Infinity War, same cast that did Winter Soldier. So when they do a Marvel movie, shit gets changed. There are high stakes in these movies that they're directing. They're doing a fantastic job of balancing the real, the fun, you know, quibby, like Marvel fun, like type of thing, but keeping things serious and grounded at times. Black Panthers, his introduction was handled so well. Now, obviously, T'Challa reigns much more supreme in his own movie, and we'll talk about that in a few weeks, but his introduction is amazing. Chadwick Boseman is fantastic in this role. I loved his introduction. He's up, they're on the freeway. He's like running past all these cars, chasing Bucky. Captain America can't even keep up with them. Oh,
you know, there's like a nitpick I have about that actually.
Okay, tell us.
You know, well, I mean, we've seen Black Panther.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, in order to get his Panther powers, he has to eat the royal fruit or whatever, right?
Heart-shaped herb.
Yeah.
Well, back in Civil War, he's doing all the Panther stuff, you know, running fast and crazy stuff. But, I mean, how would he have eaten the fruit at that point?
Well, when you watch the movie, it's mentioned that obviously T'Chaka is still king, and when he dies, because his dad dies in this movie, obviously, and but when that happens, he now puts on the ring and he says, "You're the king now." And he also, like T'Challa even tells somebody, like, I am the Black Panther. He already has been the Black Panther. And you see in his own movie that he takes that herb multiple times.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, it's like
so
part of it, right?
So you think maybe he had, like, some fruit stored? Like,
it's not a fruit. It's a heart-shaped herb, obviously.
What is?
Enhanced by vibranium that some believe is infected with the soul stone.
That's correct.
But
let's hope it is.
Well, we shall see. But what do you think about Black Panther's introduction to the film?
I love everything about it. Chadwick Boseman is fantastic in the role to begin with. He can be a little bland at times. He can. He can.
I do. All I did was
but he's amazing as a character that wants revenge for the murder of his father. I mean, it comes out of nowhere. So he sees that there's someone that may have done this, and he is going full ham on him.
You really think you could stop me from killing your friend?
Yeah, that was perfect.
But what's great about his arc in that whole movie is how, even though he's got this like revenge thing going on, this like thirst for vengeance.
Yeah, when he learns the truth,
he's
he like, accepts it.
And he's the one.
He's reasonable.
He's the one that says no. And I love that bit at the end when he tells Zemo, "The living are not done with you yet." Like, and I love his delivery. Both. You like Black Panther in this movie?
Oh yeah, man. And
we all grew up Black Panther fans. Oh, the suit. Oh,
the man took bullets like a champ.
God,
he got shot and didn't move.
Jesus, what do you think about Panther?
I loved Panther, and that was one of the most things I was most excited about actually about Civil War. In the like trailers when they showed the little bits of the Black Panther.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, me too. We were all super stoked, man.
It was not disappointing. I thought he was very charming as T'Challa.
Yeah.
And when he's talking with Black Widow, you know.
Yeah, they have a nice little dynamic there.
Mm-hmm. And
what about the first time you see a member of the Dora Milaje and they tell Black Widow move or be moved? That's their first glimpse of how BA they're going to be in Black Panther. Yeah, so you like Panther.
Oh yeah.
All right, I love him too. Let's talk about Spidey then. The other big character that was introduced. We got Todd Holland. Tom. Man, I got their names wrong. Tom Holland. Todd Holland, I think, did some horror movies back in the 80s. Tom Holland playing Spider-Man. I was not familiar with this cat beforehand. He does a fantastic job. He's my favorite Spider-Man to date.
Yep.
Like, I'll be honest with you, and he's so charming and endearing as Peter Parker in this movie. Mm-hmm. That whole bit with Tony Stark, it's funny, it's fresh, it feels hip. Spider-Man feels like Spider-Man's supposed to be. Like, I love the Raimi movies, don't get me wrong, but they're so classic feeling. Sometimes they seem outdated, even when they first came out. The Garfield movies, don't even get me started on those ones. But Holland, to me, is Ultimate Spider-Man. He is the Spider-Man for 2018, 16, I guess, 15 at the time, whatever it was. But I love Spider-Man. I love the suit. I love the way he moves. He's jokey. He does awesome Spider-Man things. He's a kid. He's in over his head. He's trying to impress. I love it. What do you think about
Yeah.
Spider-Man in this film, Jelani?
You said everything, man. Spider-Man is the main reason I wanted to see this film.
Yeah.
That was my reason. Because I was like, oh gosh, hi guys. And his eyes squinted. And I was like, oh god, did his eyes move? I turned into straight fanboy. Spider-Man in this film, this is the best way to introduce him into the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
You know, actually getting the rights, which I love. I wish Sony would just go ahead and just push those rights over and give us Spider-Man.
Oh, they're really holding out hope for this Black Cat Silver Sable movie.
Yeah, whatever, that Venom movie.
And this Night Watch movie.
Yeah, let's get all that out. But yeah, the fact that he's in the movie for just a brief time, but that brief time was impactful. Like, they figured out a way to incorporate him, make him look cool, make him have the greatest airport scene ever.
Yeah.
By the way, like, everyone has had their asses handed to them by a Winter Soldier in some form or fashion. And he just grabs his arm and he's like, hey!
You got a metal arm. Cool.
And he just grabs it like it's nothing. And it's
You guys ever seen The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
Yeah, that classic
How
movie.
old is this guy?
He's super quippy. He's funny. He's humorous. What do you
He's
think
the
about
best.
him?
I like the Spider-Man a lot. I think he's a good balance between the two previous cinematic Spider-Man.
Don't even get me started on Garfield.
Well,
Not the cat.
Garfield. The Garfield Spider-Man.
You almost said James Garfield.
Yeah.
The president.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield.
Favorite president?
No.
Not really.
No. That's a whole other video.
But yeah, he did have the more humorous aspects like the Garfield Spider-Man, but he felt like a real person.
Yeah.
Like a real kid would act like in this day and age. Like he's very secretive.
Yes.
Yeah.
He likes to keep his privacy, but at the same time he's doing all the social networking
Hell
biz,
yeah.
like the kids these days with the iPhone.
These kids these days with the iPhone.
iPhones and the face pages and all that.
Okay. What do you guys think about the overall story? Like, it is, like you said, the story gets a little stretched thin because we'll talk about Zemo here in a minute, but like Zemo's got this really elaborate plan, right? Where he's going to pit Captain America and Iron Man against each other, and he wants to capture the Winter Soldier, and he went through and learned his like secret like code words to like activate him and all that stuff. He did all of this to get access to a video.
Lab. Oh yeah.
Right? To a video that proves that the Winter Soldier is responsible for the death of Tony's mom and dad, right? So he gets this video, he gets control of Winter Soldier, and he like does this big elaborate thing. He pits Black Panther against him, he pits all the Avengers against each other. You got the Sokovian Accords going on,
elaborate.
Separate of this, and everything is actually fine and hunky-dory, even though Cap won't sign those accords. As a matter of principle and whatever. Cap won't sign them accords, but like Tony's still like, come on, man, I want you to be a part of this. But they're going to be like, well, we'll just let you go, and you'll do your own thing, and we're right. But it's really Bucky is where they really have, because at the end, when Tony finds out that Bucky killed his parents, he's like, he killed my mom, and he just loses it, right? Doesn't it seem like it would have been easier? Because at that point, they're going to go find these other Winter Soldiers, right?
Right.
That supposedly we think Zemo's going to awaken. But in reality, he's just getting them there in the hopes that Tony gets there.
Yeah.
And Tony only gets there because he gets the information out of Sam. Out of Falcon.
Yeah.
If that didn't happen, Zemo's whole plan falls apart. Why couldn't he just email Tony Stark this video? It just seems like there's some steps that Zemo could have avoided.
It's a lot of
Maybe
steps.
he
To
just wasn't tech savvy enough.
Maybe not. Speaking of tech savvy, you're not tech savvy with your iPhones
What?
and whatnot. What do you think about the overall plot of the movie, and what bothered you, and what did you let slide, and what was cool?
Well, I liked it overall. It just seemed, if there's any fault to it, it just seemed like there was just so much going on that they couldn't really focus as much on certain things that would have, helped the story, like develop the story better.
Yeah.
Because, they have all these other things going on at the same time. But overall, I think it worked out good enough.
What about you, Jelani? What do you think?
I mean, I love it. I mean, Zemo has his faults. He's not the greatest villain, but he is an excellent villain at the same time because he does the water scene where he hangs the guy upside down.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
Jelani loves a good torture scene.
I love tortures. It's not bad. The story, the convoluted plan kind of hurts him. he really needed to like flesh that out a little bit.
That could
more.
be simplified a little bit. You got some extra steps in there, homie. Like you can just
like it was a lot of happenstance, a lot of chance.
Yeah. What if Tony didn't find out?
What if we did? Yeah. What if they didn't fight or each other? What if you? How in the world would you know where everyone is going for the Sokovia Accords and find a bomb in time to time it to explode to kill exactly the person you need to kill?
And you got a look-alike for Winter Soldier.
It's so much work.
These dudes ain't never been able to find Winter Soldier for decades. And they can find him like that in this movie.
Nothing.
Right? And you're right, Winter Soldier takes everybody out.
Yeah.
He takes everybody out. Remember that fight? Which is a great fight scene.
He's amazing.
Tony, and he fires the gun at Tony, and it's he's like freaked out, and Black Widow's like you crazy like scissor like grab move doesn't work. The move she does in every movie. You got
Black Panther trying to do
Black Panther doing this without the costume
without the suit on. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the action in this movie is intense.
It's amazing.
It's so much
still,
fun.
like, even with those faults, though, it's an amazing film.
Yeah. Let's talk real quick about the main one. Captain America. Chris Evans. Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. Bucky. Winter Soldier. Sebastian Stan. What do you think? How'd they do?
They all did wonderful. You feel where Tony's coming from. You feel where Cap's coming from. You feel where Bucky's coming from. You understand all of their characterizations. You understand what side you might pick. I would have picked Cap, Team Cap, all day. Even in the comic book, by the way. Because in the comic book, it was Tony I couldn't stand. In fact, Iron Man brought me back to Tony Stark. Just because I couldn't stand the character of Tony Stark during that period of time.
Yeah.
Like, on the sides of choosing sides for the government registration, why do you need to give up your identity? It's your freedom to be who you wish to be. So
it's different in the film, though.
But the film is Sokovia, yeah. Basically, he's like I'm Iron Man, and everybody knows he's Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
And everyone knows everyone, so except for kind of Spider-Man. But you don't need it. Like I'm sorry, not you don't need it. You need those characters to flesh themselves out, and they do it wonderfully in this film. All three that we mentioned are perfect.
Yeah.
Bucky is still clouded from his memories. He's still conflicted, and then on top of that, he gets these code words, and he turns into this just monster.
Yeah, and he's also got some nice, fun, humorous bits with Sam Wilson.
Yeah. So
I hate you.
Oh God, that whole fight scene.
Scoot the seat up a little bit.
No.
What do you think about those three? That trifecta of Bucky, played by Chris Jr., Robert Downey Evans, and Stan Sebastian.
I think he was wrong.
Yeah, what do you think about Bucky, Cap, and I Am?
I liked it. For a while, it kind of felt like a buddy road trip movie.
Yeah.
And like with the two guys who just can't stand each other, and one guy who has to keep the peace, which was obviously Cap. But in the end, I think they kind of understood each other better.
Yeah.
And, Captain America is the kind of guy, like, he's friends with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants everybody else to be friends, too. He wants, everybody working together, because that's the best way to, like, if he needs to depend on somebody in a fight, if he needs to depend on these people, he wants them to be able to, work together and not be, bickering and have all this conflict and everything. So, I think I really liked the dynamic between those characters. Because, it's like, your best friend, like, introduces you to one of his friends, and at first you're kind of like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
But then over time, you kind of, develop.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And we still kind of don't like each other.
Yeah.
There are other Avengers in this movie. Like we said, there were a lot. There's War Machine, there's Falcon, there's Hawkeye, there's Scarlet Witch, there's Vision. And this is seriously, in my opinion, the best Ant-Man movie to date. Loved the characters in this movie. Ant-Man stood out to me. Like, seriously, I thought his his own movie, you know, as we talked about last week, I thought it was just kind of okay, not really the greatest. Paul Rudd was great in the role, though, and he really got a chance to shine and be very humorous and fit in. It's funny to see him up there with the other Avengers, not just Falcon, but it was with the other ones. And he's got some of my favorite moments when he goes Giant Man, or when he gets the little truck.
That was a water truck.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, that's my bad. And when he grows big and he's like, ha 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 ha, and it's just so funny to me. What do you think about some of the other Avengers? Who stood out for you?
The ones that stand out, let's see. Scarlet Witch. I love Scarlet Witch in this film. And the dynamic she has with Vision.
Yes.
I
good
love,
stuff.
yeah, those two together. Like, I can't wait to see what happens in Infinity War. Because, I mean, in the comics, they've been married. So, I mean, I guess they're building that kind of camaraderie together. And Tony wants to protect her.
Yes.
Because of what she does. And
that scene where she has to make him super dense and like he just like falls into the earth.
It was gorgeous, yeah. But the fact she kills those people from Wakanda, and it's by accident at the beginning of the film, and I actually felt for her because I was like, you know, it's an accident. You're trying your best to save people's lives, man.
That wasn't her fault.
Yeah,
I mean, he was going to explode on the ground or in the air. Either way, like.
Well, we all know that, but you also understand how
the world
media and politics could like construe all this into being against, you know, the Avengers and Vigilantes. So Scarlet Witch stood out to you.
Yeah.
I really do like Vision in this too. I like his attempts to be human. It's very much like that Tom King Vision line a little bit. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, man.
I love it so much. I really do.
Wearing like a sweater.
Or a sweater, yeah.
What Avenger stood out to you in this movie, aside from Cap and Iron Man, and Black Panther and Spider-Man? We've talked about that.
Well, I actually liked Hawkeye coming out of retirement in this movie.
Okay.
Because, you know,
he finally gets to be
shows
awesome.
up, like, nobody sees him coming. It's like, you know, he shows up at the mansion and was like, oh, you're out of retirement? And, you know, he comes out because, you know, Cap asked him to. Like, Hawkeye wouldn't have just, like, you know, come back into action for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he actually agrees. Like, you know, he agrees with what Cap stands for. Otherwise, he wouldn't be, you know, risking his own ass. You know?
Yeah. Of course, you got Rhodey in here as well, War Machine, and he kind of gets all messed up and semi-paralyzed when he has, you know, when he gets hit by the bomb or by the missile.
By the mind gem. He gets hit by the
That's
mind
right,
gem.
but Vision.
With Vision,
yeah, that's right, and he
shoots
falls
him
down
because Vision was distracted by Scarlet Witch.
So I do feel like once again maybe War Machine's underutilized. That just seems to be typically what happens with James Rhodes in these movies.
I still like Terrence Howard.
Man, we're still on that.
Yeah,
but
still on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Don Cheadle's not bad.
And you know, one of my favorite bits in this whole movie is when they're all in jail and Tony shows up and Scott's there, Scott Lang, Ant-Man, and he's like, you know, Hank Pym always said never trust Stark, and he's like, I'm sorry, who are you?
Who are you?
Oh man, come on! I loved it. Let's talk about the villain.
When he was in the Iron Man suit and he's like, what's in there? He's like, it's your conscience.
Yeah,
we haven't talked in a while.
Yeah, that whole airport scene is super fun.
It's the best scene in the movie.
It's a great scene.
Yeah, I love it.
It is funny now looking at it now and being like, this is big epic fight, and this like 5 people on each team running at each other in this big open airfield.
Skirmish.
But it's super fun. Let's talk about the villain. It's first of all, Crossbones in this movie. Mm-hmm. You know, a thread that came from Winter Soldier. I'm glad that we got to see Crossbones. He obviously wasn't the main villain, but he had a big part in the inciting incident that led to everything. And I thought it was cool. It looked cool, and I like the idea that not every villain deserves its own movie or to be regulated just to a henchman throughout the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But like you could do things like with Batroc, like in Winter Soldier, and Crossbones in this one. You can just have this. It's the opening, you know. Yeah. It's the opening little mission, you know. And I like that, so I do like that. But with Zemo, that guy's named David Brule.
David Brule.
The one name I get right is the one I just learned 20 minutes ago. David Brule's in this movie. I think he does a great role, like with what he's given. But I think once again, another MCU movie with an incredibly weak villain. An incredibly weak villain. Baron Zemo is so awesome in the comic books. And in this one, it's nothing like that. And I wouldn't mind that so much, except for he's a very dull villain. And the whole time you're like, what is the secret that his family was killed in Sokovia? Yeah. And you're like, oh, it can't be anything like that. And even in the movie, he says, it's not that simple. Yeah. No, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Kind of is. What do you think about the villain in this movie?
It should have been Helmet Zemo. It should have been the Zemo from the comics. Just like I wanted
At least
Strucker.
just mess his face up at the end.
Yeah.
It should be more like the comics.
I want to do Strucker.
I don't like it.
In Age of Ultron. You just
That would have been cool. You don't
toss him
kill
aside.
You don't kill Strucker in Age of Ultron. You thread him into this. That's
Right.
kind of cool.
And it would have been perfect. And I understand. He had strong motivations. I take it back. He does have strong.
He does
motivations.
have strong motivation,
It's
but
just
that's
that
just
they're
an elaborate
executing.
ass plan.
It really is. It was too and I had to fake being a psychologist to get the words, to mess with Winter Soldier. I mean, it's so convoluted of a plan.
Yeah.
And he had no fighting skills, and I really wanted to see a fight with super soldiers.
Yeah, I know.
versus
They
the
tease
three.
this big thing at the end.
I want that to happen, and you subverted it by giving me nothing of that fight.
But you did
But
get
you
a nice
still get a
fight,
fight.
with Iron Man and Cap
Right.
and Winter
You
Soldier.
still get your fight, and it's an awesome fight. But I still kind of, in my heart, I'm like, oh,
What do you think
I
about
want to see
Zemo?
some Winter Soldiers.
I thought he was really good, but like a lot of the villains in the movie, he just didn't get enough time. Really, like there's just so much going on in this movie that his plot took center stage more than the actual character did.
Yeah, good point. That articulated it very well.
But and there was also this thing when he's when they have caught him and he's talking to Captain America and he says something about I never noticed before, but there's flicks of green in your eyes. So I'm like, wait, is this some kind of hint that he's a Nazi or something?
Yeah.
Because the whole master race thing, I guess was what he was referring to, but it never really turns out. They never follow up on that.
Yeah, they don't. And it's the closest they get to the comic book Zemo.
Yeah.
Not that bothers me. It's a villain with motivation, but it's a villain that's not very threatening
Yeah.
to me in the movie. And it just seemed like his plot was just a little...
And it wasn't
Too
about
soon.
him anyway, though. It wasn't about him anyway. It was about Cap's ideology versus Tony's ideology. And should we regulate ourselves? Or should we work as we've always worked and save the world?
But ultimately, though, it's actually the whole Civil War is
right.
actually about Bucky.
Yeah.
They suspect that the Winter Soldier is responsible for this death. Now, I understand trying to stop Black Panther from killing the dude. But why does Cap not just... You said you were Team Cap. I'm Team Tony. Because why can Cap not just be like, Tony, he didn't do it, but I'm going to trust you guys. I'm going to trust my country. I'm going to trust my system. And
Because
we're going to turn him over.
First of
so
all,
that this crazy-ass Black Panther doesn't fucking kill him in the middle of the street, in the middle of the freeway. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just feel like Cap was a complete D-bag in this movie, man.
I think Cap was the best part.
I think Cap was a complete D-bag. I'm totally not.
Why? It's his friend.
Because this movie
he wants to protect his friend.
This movie is not about Cap's principles. This movie is about Cap not working with his people.
He works with his people all the time.
He doesn't work with Tony
and
on
Winter
this.
Soldier is a great reason why I would bring this up. He found out that it's not good and evil, black and white. There is gray. And on top of the gray, he found out his best friend that he thought's been dead for years is now back. Not only is he back, he saved his life at the end of Winter Soldier. So he's committed to helping. And he wants to help his friend any way that he can. He wants to do it his way. Tony is like, well, we got these accords and all this stuff and we have to do this. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yes, you
let
do.
Let the man
I'm sorry,
capture
but
him.
you do.
He could have stopped him.
If this was our world, we lived there, I'd be like, you regulate these guys. I'm serious as hell, dude. I'm serious as hell.
Can you imagine trying to tell Thor that he has to, get
Sorry.
along?
Yeah, well, Thor wasn't even in the movie. I'm just saying, the main point's not even that. It's not the government,
It's the government
It's
regulating.
not that. No, it's the fact
then
that
it's-
Tony won't turn. I mean, it's the fact
They'll
that
be like-
Cap won't turn over Bucky to Tony. That's what this is about, is it not?
Yeah.
This whole thing is about that.
It is, but
And
he
Tony
shouldn't.
the entire time is even saying, we won't let anything happen to him, let's work it out. Even at the end, that's what they're going to do. Until he finds out Winter Soldier killed his mom. Oh. Team Cap, Team Tony, what do you think?
I'm Team Cap.
Oh, whatever.
Cap,
Tell me
man.
why.
All
You
day.
guys are so wrong.
All day.
So wrong.
I just like Cap better.
Just
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't be like, I'm Team Thor.
Yeah.
You think Cap had the better...
I'll just go off into space.
Did you understand Cap's point of view more so than Stark's in this movie?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're both like you can really relate to both of them. Like you can understand why. But it's kind of odd because Tony was kind of always been the rebellious guy in these movies. Like he was undermining Shield.
That's one of the reasons why he's so on board with it, because he created Ultron. Imagine the guilt that he feels over that.
But he was undermining Shield and the Avengers and
but that's before Ultron. That's before the alien invasion. That's before Tennessee.
I understand why he needs to. He feels like he needs to. Maybe rein himself and like everybody else in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I can see Cap's, side of like who's in charge? Like how do we know? Because in Winter Soldier they found out S.H.I.E.L.D. the very people that were supposed to be keeping them safe were actually Hydra the whole time.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, so what's to keep that from happening again?
I still just don't think the major point of their conflict is the Accords. It's totally the Accord stuff.
Kind of like
the Accords were already. It was already settled.
The Accords
that was already
rules.
settled. It was already settled.
And then you got Bucky.
This is what's cool about movies like Civil War. It seems like all three of us love this film, but we can still debate, have disagreements, in fun, in jest, call each other stupid, but still come together, love and respect one another. Right? There's no Civil Wars here at PCP. I called you both stupid, though. I did, because you're Team Cap. That makes no sense to me. Anyway, I think we overall liked the movie. What did you rate out of 5 possible you digs? What do you give Captain America Civil War?
I give it 4.5.
4.5 you digs, a near perfect score. Yeah. Tell us why.
It's a solid film. You brought in, it's Avengers 2.5, so you're already getting everyone you love. And you're like, what if this person could fight this person? You're pitting two people together, or two sides together, and it still turned out to be a wonderful film. You were able to balance comedy. You're able to balance drama. You're able to make me care about everyone, about every little thing. And then on top of that, you got Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man sells it for me. I mean, I could have watched the movie without him. But then the second I saw him, I was like, yeah, you can have all my money.
Underoos. Speaking of Underoos, Brooks, out of 5 possible you digs, what do you rate Captain America Civil War?
I give it 4.5 too.
4.5 as well? Wow, you guys think very highly of this film. Why so high, Brooks?
Because it's just so entertaining. That's what I want from these movies. I want to be entertained. I want to see the story progress. I want to see, more characters, more action, more, and this delivers on that.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to slightly defer and just say 4. 4 you digs for me. I like 4. I love this movie.
It's because he's Team Tony.
It's
you don't agree with us?
I give it 4 you digs. Just like you guys said, I love this movie. It's entertaining. It's fun. It's got a great balance of comedy, drama, action, adventure, espionage. It's just so fun. So fun. The characters are spot on, like Brooks said. More characters, more action. Throw me some Black Panther. Give me some Spider-Man. I'll eat it up. This stuff is awesome. We're loving it. This is just a taste, Civil War was, of what Infinity War is going to be. I am so doing it right. So 4.5, 4, giving it an average of 4.332473984.
Really?
And a quarter. Anyway, what do you rate Captain America Civil War? Let us know in the comments down below. How many you digs out of 5 do you give it? And are you Team Cap or are you Team Iron Man? Do you agree with these losers? Or do you respect this winner right here? I'm just kidding, guys. I love these guys so much. So much. Anyway, be sure to check us out next week here on Movie Monday. Continuing the MCU Rewatch, we'll be talking about Doctor Strange. I guess that's how you say Doctor Strange. Yes. So please do like, share, and subscribe. Check us out at popculturephilosophers.com. We got podcasts there, blogs there, a whole lot more. Check us out. Thank you for rocking with us. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. This has been
Jelani Bullard.
This is
Brooks.
We are Pop Culture Philosophers. Thanks for joining the Army. Big
Army.
There's an army?